Hey guys, TheGermaniac back again, bringing you another video. Now, haven't been making videos in a while. About a 3 or 4 day stop, I think. I've been super busy being overseas, but I'm going back to Germany this Saturday, so I'll be able to start making videos more consistently, probably starting Monday. Now, we got a pretty interesting article today. The tone is shifting on how people are essentially perceiving Israel. I think a lot of governments are now straight up saying, look, you are literally just going too far. So now even Baerbock is calling for a ceasefire. And for those who don't know, Germany was essentially unequivocally on Israel's side, saying that it's a German state of reason to basically back Israel no matter what. But now even Germany is saying, look, you guys are literally taking it too far. You need to stop. You need to stop. And we see even Biden himself is saying that now. So anyway, we'll go through this article and see what it says. Baerbock calls for ceasefire on trip to Israel. In view of the suffering of the people in the Gaza Strip, Germany's foreign minister is calling for more humanitarian aid and a ceasefire. In view of the suffering of the people in the Gaza Strip, Germany's foreign minister Annalena Baerbock has called on the Israeli government to agree to a ceasefire rather than undertaking a ground offensive against Hamas in the city of Rafah. In Rafah, 1.3 million people are living in the most horrendous conditions in a very confined space, said Baerbock during a 2 day visit to Israel. The people there could not simply vanish into thin air. What they needed was more humanitarian aid and a ceasefire, said the foreign minister. Now, for those who don't know, Rafah is basically the final, like, it's the last thing. If they lose Rafah, where are the Palestinian people going to go? Are they just going to go into the ocean? Literally just going to be living in the river to the sea? Like they're going to be living in the sea? Or they're going to get pushed out to Egypt or Europe? So this is very interesting because, Israel's been coming out saying we're doing everything we can to make sure civilians aren't getting harmed. And now we're kind of seeing the mask come off. They're bombing Rafah, and, well, where are the Palestinian people going to go? That's the last place. They can't go anywhere. So this is pretty much just becoming a straight up, like an undeniable genocide at this point. And the talks of, well, they're going to take out Hamas. Well, how many Hamas are you taking out per civilian? Because this is a bit ridiculous. Like, you're creating Hamas by being so brutal. So, and when they talk about the hostages, how many hostages have they gone back through this fighting? What was it, like barely any in comparison to they negotiate? They were able to do a negotiation and they were able to get back more hostages that way. So it seems like their thirst for blood is really becoming apparent to even their allies, and their allies, the U.S., Germany, they're kind of saying enough is enough. Like, what are you doing? Adding that in the course of her trip to Israel, she would also be discussing how the humanitarian suffering could be alleviated, while at the same time bringing about the release of hostages. As a matter of urgency, there has to be a significant boost in the amount of humanitarian aid being sent to Gaza, as to ensure that the people there don't starve and die of thirst, said the minister. This also requires guarantees of protections for the UN organizations. At the same time, said Baerbock, it was important to look at how international pressure on Hamas could be increased, so that the terrorists would finally lay down their weapons. This is Baerbock's fifth trip to Israel since the terrorist attack perpetrated by the Islamist Hamas on 7th of October. In Israel, she's meeting with Foreign Minister Israel Katz, Prime Minister Netanyahu, and President, let's just say, Herzog. Now, what international pressure could be placed on Hamas? They're defeated, basically. Like, anyone taking up arms is essentially, I don't know, just trying to keep Israelis away from him. Like, the amount of hatred you're going to be producing from these acts, it's this isn't going to go away. People are going to remember this. People are going to remember how brutal the Israelis treated them. And who's going to rebuild Gaza? Who's going to rebuild it? You're trying to tell me the Israelis are going to rebuild Gaza for the Palestinians once Hamas is gone? There's not a hope in hell. If Hamas leaves, you are going to get so many future terrorists. It's not even funny. Not only that, but the amount of children they've even killed as well. Internationally, this is a terrible, terrible look for Israel. So foolish. And I think the only thing they're going to try and say, well, that was the Netanyahu government. We're a different government now. Bullshit. You're using Netanyahu. Netanyahu's also using this to justify eliminating the Palestinians in the area and basically pushing out as many as possible. It's not about Hamas. It's about getting rid of that area. There is no two-state solution in their minds. There is only one, and it's the Israeli state. So is the world gonna just stand by and watch as thousands of children get killed? Oh, apparently. Apparently. But it's almost like they've had enough. So we'll see how this goes in the end. Not too hopeful, but yeah, that's it for this one. Pretty scary news. They got nowhere to go anymore, so they're just gonna get absolutely annihilated. If you liked the video, like, subscribe. I got more coming up later, and I'll see you soon.